What the judge was ruling today is whether or not this was an emergency, not substantively whether or not there was a violation. And the issue is, if there was a violation, is it something we could fix later? And basically what the judge ruled is, she thinks under the law we can fix it later if there's a violation. So therefore it's not an emergency, so she's not going to stop the city council. It's just that simple. I tried to argue, and frankly my argument wasn't that strong. I tried to argue we could fix this later, but the truth is, we can come back in court in a few weeks if they pass this and maybe get it overturned. So in some ways, the city may be screwing themselves if they pass this today and there was a violation. So that's all that happened today. The judge ruled that this isn't an emergency in the sense we can fix it later. We're going to come back to court in a couple weeks and we're going to make that argument once it passes, if and when it passes today. And that's all that happened. It's really simple and straightforward.
Okay.
Okay?
You comfortable making that update for the press as well?
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna line up behind him in front of the camera. Come on. Hurry. Come on. Faster.
Y'all come straight through.
Come through, all the way, come on. Go. Faster. Move.
Just watch your step, guys. Hey, I'm sorry, there you go, ready?
Yep.
Black Shadow.
Spell your name, please.
Sure. It's Brendan Schiller, BRENDAN, SHILLER. It's the Schiller Prayer Law Firm.
Is that all right, guys? That's good.
Yep. Step as close as you can. There you go.
It's Brendan Schiller, SHILLER. First name's Brendan, BRENDAN. It's the Schiller Prayer Law Firm. I represent Asada's Daughters, Black Lives Matter, American Friends Service Committee, VYP 100, all the groups that make up the No Cop Academy Coalition, as well as several individual plaintiffs who can say their name and step up if they wish to. I'm not going to out them unless they want me.
So tell us what the judge decided and what your next legal step might be.
Sure. All it was really before, we saw an extraordinary remedy today. What was before the judge basically is the simple question, is there any way that we could solve a problem if it really was a problem if the city council proceeded today? The issue before the judge is, if we were right, there was an Open Meetings Act violation, is there absolutely no remedy if the city council passes the funding today? And what the judge simply ruled is, she thinks there's still remedy. So she wasn't ruling on the merits of whether or not there was an Open Meeting Act violation. She was ruling on whether or not there was a possibility to remedy the Open Meeting Act violation down the line after there was briefing and more things to be heard. She basically said it's not an emergency. And she's probably right from that legal aspect.
Well, if it's not an emergency, what remedies are there if the meeting goes ahead and the funding is approved?
Frankly, it's not an emergency for my clients, because what will happen is, if there was an Open Meeting Act violation, is we'll get this ordinance overturned. I think it's more in the interest of the city not to go forward today, because if they go forward today and then we litigate this for 2 or 3 months and we get it overturned, then they wasted their time and their money. But the city said they aren't concerned about that.
But as you've seen from the Fair case, that's been in the courts for over a year, almost 2 years now. So are you saying that this trajectory could be the same?
I'm saying that litigation takes time. That I think the Fair case set some precedent here that's relevant. That I think there was an Open Meeting Act violation on Tuesday. I think there was an Open Meeting Act violation on Wednesday. I think there's going to be an Open Meeting Act violation of a different form based on scheduling and notice today. And I think that it's possible that those combination of Open Meeting Act violations will result in voiding this if this ordinance passes, if this funding ordinance passes, voiding that. And if that happens, that's a lot more wasted time and money for the city.
But if you violate it long term though, right?
No, this is a political issue, long term. That's their job. The people behind me, they want to block the long term politically. That's a legislative question. That's an argument to be made. But if the city is so confident that they have the right argument, they should do it openly, over time, with a proper process and procedure that doesn't violate the Open Meeting Act, and give their legislators the benefit of hearing from people who disagree. If Rahm really thinks that taking a government building with a bunch of government employees that spend some time but no money in the building, and no time and no money in the community surrounding the building, and moving it from the near west side to the far west side somehow generates economic development for young black and brown people, then he hasn't talked to any economic experts at all.
But if you believe they violated the Open Meetings Act, if they post the meeting, if they follow the rules next time, aren't you just delaying the inevitable? What changes?
That's all I'm doing legally, yes. But I'm giving my clients the opportunity to talk, and I'm giving city leaders the opportunity to listen. And if after my clients talk and city leaders listen, if they still decide this is the right thing to do, then that's democracy. But to do this where you shut down people from comment, where you hurry up the process, where you start talking about killing dogs and cats and I'm at war and I'm playing hardball, that's not democracy, and that doesn't give the community any confidence that what you're doing is deliberate, considerate legislating. I gotta go to the court. You can talk to my clients.
Does anybody want to hear from the coalition members?
Sure, they want to talk. That's what we're here for. Tell us your name, spell it out, please.
Kennedy Bartley, Kennedy, Bartley, Bartley.
And which part of the coalition are you representing, or all of it, or just, because there's so many groups?
Sure, yeah, I'm representing No Cop Academy as a whole.
Okay, your reaction?
My reaction?
Then to what happened in court?
I guess somewhat expected, like on the basis of what Brendan shared as well. We had the burden of proving that it was necessary to have an emergency action. That doesn't mean that the injunction doesn't stand, and we're not going anywhere. In 2 hours we'll be at City Hall. You see the people behind me, they're not going anywhere.
So I know you're protesting in City Hall, and you know the vote's expected to pass. How does the fight continue? How do you carry it forward, if you intend to carry it forward?
How do I intend to carry forward No Cop Academy, or the ongoing conversation of the lack of care towards black and brown communities?
Frame it in way.
Oh, I mean, well, I think I'll always be a proponent.
No, not you personally, but the group, representatives you're talking for.
Sure, yeah.
We're bringing up someone that can talk about the campaign as a whole.
Hi.
Okay.
MARIAHERNANDEZ.
And my name is Benji Hartz, BENJIHART.
So what are the next steps for the campaign beyond today?
Well, first of all, we're going to continue our conversations with council members. This is not the final funding. I think aldermen themselves have not been able, by denying the comment, not just from the public, but by proceeding without aldermanic debate on Tuesday, the aldermen weren't able to ask questions like, how do we know that this thing is going to cost $95 million when, for instance, the Bronx built a facility half this size and it took them $950 million. There are huge funding gaps, and $20 million is not going to build this project. It's irresponsible for our city in so many ways. It will not get to the preventative measures that we need, such as employment, housing, education, and mental and physical health care for our communities. So we think that there's so much debate left and so many more opportunities to intervene in this undemocratic process.
Thank you.
Should I add anything?
We have a press conference at 1 o'clock where we will have more people from the coalition representing different organizations. We have 79 organizations. So there will be more updates to come at 1 p.m. over at City Hall. I recommend you all come through.